Hello, everybody. We are almost there. We just have to make it over that hump. You know what time it is. It is Wednesday, and it is time for a wonderful Wednesday wisdom nugget. So, today I'm doing something different. It has been put on my heart to pretty much educate people about mental health. I'm going to talk about ways to give care for people who have mental illnesses. And I'm also going to break down the different types of mental illnesses, what to look for, and just having awareness. There's stigmas behind this thing, and a lot of people look at mental health and they brush it off. And it's time that we have some awareness. It's time that we really reach out to those that we love when we haven't heard from them. I was diagnosed, as I've said in previous videos, around the early 2000s with anxiety disorders. I used to have panic attacks. I no longer have panic attacks. But if you have panic attacks with it, it is panic disorder. So anxiety disorder just deals with just heavy anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, overthinking, because we have what we call a fight or flight response. And when everything is really overwhelming, your stress hormone, which is your cortisol hormone, it elevates and it prepares you for when you have anxiety or when you're scared and your heart is beating. You're preparing for something that's not even happening because it's all up here. And if you deal with anxiety like me, guys, your charge is to not focus so much on the worst possible outcomes. Your charge is to always think about good things. So even when you get those thoughts in your head and you want to overthink about problems that may arise, because let's face it, this is life. Problems are going to happen, but you have to stand firm. And that's why I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. And I have to have that higher power. I have to pray. And God tells me when I feel overwhelmed, there is no limit in prayer. And say that you start feeling really anxious, your heart is beating really fast, you feel like you're about to go into a panic attack or an anxiety attack. And anxiety attacks are not fun at all. You're sweating, your heart is beating really fast. Sometimes it feels like you're having a heart attack and you're not. And you're out of breath. There's a method that you can use where you're identifying three things in a room. So say for instance, you're in your room, you see your TV is black. So you're looking at a black TV, or you're looking at people on TV and identifying literally the color of those things, possibly where it's located and how those things smell, or if there's like perfume, you might smell it and say, okay, oh, I like. It's just getting your mind off of whatever is making you anxious. It's putting you in a mind frame of right now. It's putting you in a present moment, and that's what you want. So yes, I am an overcomer of it, but like everyone that I talk to who has a diagnosed mental illness, stress makes it worse. And you have those times where it can really become overwhelming. That's why when it comes to stress, I try to seclude myself because I don't want to be around people who are stressful. I don't want to be around stressful people, places, and things because it's going to cause more of my symptoms to arise, and it's not a good feeling. Don't get discouraged when people seclude themselves, when you don't see them posting, and when you see them hiding in a cave. There's so much stigma behind mental health. And then when you try to open up to people, they call you crazy. They call you just, you're insane, or they make fun of you sometimes. And it's hurtful. It's very hurtful to hear that kind of thing. So if you're caring for someone who has mental health issues, or you have a friend who has mental health issues, please don't ever call them crazy. Please don't ever call them delusional. And please don't make fun of them. Please, whatever you do. And if you know that you haven't heard from them in a while, please, 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 by all means, make sure that you're checking in with them. Make sure that you're reaching out to them. And you can start with a, hey, is everything okay? Don't ever remind them of their mental health issues. Oh, I know you have such and such disorder. I'm just trying to check on you. No, you don't start with that. What you start with is talking to them like they're a normal person. Is everything okay? I haven't heard from you in a while. I was just checking on you to make sure. And the number one thing that people with mental health issues feel is like they're all alone, like they're walking on earth all by themselves and no one understands them. And that's why I have made it a mission to be friends more with people who have other mental health issues, because it really helps. We can open up to each other about the stigmas. But definitely, if you are dealing with it and you have a diagnosed mental health issue or mental illness, what you need to do is talk to someone who is a light, talk to someone who is positive, get with a therapist. And one thing that I want to explore as I continue on my journey is cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a step above regular therapy because it challenges you to really do active homework and to do something different or choose a different reaction to what you normally do. Everyone knows who deals with this thing that this is not easy. And some people choose to take medicine and some people don't. And that's a personal preference. Don't ever try to tell somebody what they should do based on what you think or based on what you've researched. Don't ever force that on anyone, because everyone knows the side effects of meds. That's also very hard. If you choose to take medicine, it does not, it's okay. It's okay to take meds if that's how you feel. It does not make you less than anyone who doesn't take meds. We're all fighting through this together. I want to give a brief overview of the different types of mental illnesses, so you know which ones to look out for, and if someone has bad reactions or if they're exhibiting behavior, especially in children. If they're exhibiting behavior that's like, you're like, this just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what is going on, or if you have a family member and you're just like, I can't get down with what's going on. I don't understand what's happening. Let me give you the symptoms. I gave you these symptoms of anxiety. Bipolar disorder, for someone, who may have that, the moods are very up and down. So one day they're extremely happy over the top, and then another day they're extremely sad. And it's not like a person who doesn't have it or a normal person with their emotions. Their emotions are like on 10 and they're really just elevated. So, for instance, they have overwhelming joy, excitement, or happiness, huge energy, a reduced need for sleep, and reduced inhibitions. So it's like having a double personality, if you will. They don't get a lot of rest. They don't sleep well. So that is the number one sign of bipolar disorder. So be an active listener. Listen to people, because sometimes, like I said, there are triggers that all of us have. And sometimes there are things that bring us back down, and we hate it. And especially if you've come to a point where you feel like you have overcome it completely, and then stress arises, and then you get those symptoms back, you feel like you failed. And I'm here to tell you, you are not failing. Keep going and just find that peace. Find that way to calm yourself down. And like I said, if it's medication for you, that's fine. If it's therapy for you, that's fine. If it's calling a friend, that's fine. But just keep going. Do not give up. And please, 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 get the proper rest, exercise, check your vitamin levels, because that plays a huge part in your mental health as well. Another one that I've been kind of like learning about is ADHD. It's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And the symptoms of that are constantly fidgeting, being unable to concentrate on tasks, excessive physical movement, excessive talking, being unable to wait your turn, acting without thinking, interrupting conversations. So that's kind of the symptoms of people who have ADHD. A lot of them definitely cannot sit still, and they're definitely not great listeners at all. It might be a person that you're talking to and you see them kind of looking around at different things. They're not paying attention to you. They're talking over you. That is one of the signs and symptoms of ADHD. PTSD is also one that I know that a lot of people have. And like bipolar disorder, that is also one where they don't sleep very well. So PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And most of the people who have PTSD from me, they have dealt with a very traumatic event, whether it be stuff like grief, watching a loved one pass away, being in very bad car accidents, And that stuff keeps replaying in their mind. It keeps playing in their mind just over and over and over again. And sometimes a lot of them have hallucinations. They have nightmares. They can't sleep. They toss and turn. Most of the people that I know who have it, in order for it to calm down and for them to be able to just really calm down, they need meds. There are some people, trust me, there are some people who live with PTSD without the medication, and that's perfectly fine. Some of the symptoms are being easily startled, and I've definitely seen that symptom in a couple of people that I know who have PTSD. Any type of noise, they react, they jump, like, what's going on? Because I think it triggers back something in their mind with that traumatic experience. And I do notice that people who do have PTSD, they are very sensitive to noise. So that is a very common symptom. Feeling tense, on guard, or on edge, having difficulty concentrating, having difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, feeling irritable and having angry or aggressive outbursts, engaging in risky, reckless, or destructive behavior. When you have a mental health issue, you just have to get to the root of it. A lot of this stuff I feel comes from childhood. It comes from your life's experiences. And therapy has helped me so well, like to really work with my triggers and make me calm has really helped me. And listening to somebody else's opinion who does not know me, I'm more relaxed talking to a complete stranger about my mental health issues versus someone I know. For me, in the back of my mind with having anxiety, sometimes opening up and talking to people that I know, I feel like they're judging me. And that all comes from my childhood and being bullied when I was a little girl, and having sometimes family members and close friends talk about me. I don't like being talked about. I don't like being put on the spot. Everyone has their story. I have mine. You have yours. You just have to get to the root cause of it, and you have to heal. And you have to be okay with healing. You have to be okay with not receiving apologies from people who have hurt you. You just have to get to that place. And I promise you, it all gets better. And I also want to talk about depression, because depression is a mental illness, but a lot of people don't see it that way. They don't think that it's a big deal. Depression is also a very big one. So here are the symptoms for depression: feelings of sadness, tearfulness, emptiness, or hopelessness, angry outbursts, loss of interest or pleasure in most or all normal activities, sleep disturbances, tiredness and lack of energy, reduced appetite, anxiety, slowed thinking, feelings of worthlessness or guilt. And a lot of people know people who suffer with depression. And one thing I've noticed with people with depression, they sleep a lot. So unlike the people with PTSD or bipolar disorder, they're the opposite. They sleep all day. They like sitting in the dark. They like being in darkness. Be kind to others. You don't know what they're going through. And like I said, everyone's not going to be transparent with you, because I'm a person as well. I do have this show, but it's a lot of things I'm still not going to share on this show. It's a lot of things that I'm not going to open up with. And that is perfectly fine. But as long as I talk to a professional and I get healed from those things, I'm fine. And that's what I charge to anyone who is dealing with a clinically diagnosed mental illness. Just get healed. Talk to a professional. It is okay. There are so many things out here. There are so many programs to help you. Please know that you are not alone. There are so many people going through the same thing in darkness. They're not opening up. They're not telling people what they're going through. Don't ever think you're going through this alone. And as I said, caregivers, have a heart, be kind. If you can't have a heart and be kind, do not talk to these people. Do not talk to people who have mental health issues, because I'm telling you, you're burdened down enough with these symptoms and these triggers. You just feel overwhelmed. You don't feel like yourself. You haven't felt like yourself in a while. The last thing you need is somebody planting a seed of just being mean to you or talking to you any kind of way, and it makes you feel worse. If you deal with this, be careful who you hang around, be careful who you open up to. It's okay to seclude yourself, but don't seclude yourself for too long. That's another thing that I can say. Make sure you go outside, make sure you get some sun, make sure you are around people. I'm also leaving a lot of numbers for if you're dealing with this. If you're feeling suicidal, please call the number, the suicide hotline. You can text as well. Please call these numbers. And I'm giving you all of the tools and the resources right here. God bless. Get better, feel better, be better. And once you are better, share your story. Bye bye.